Hi, welcome to Midnight Morsels,
the new Gummy Buddies sober series where we get cozy
we get comfy,
and give you snuggly little tidbits, tastes, if you will, of stories. So here we are.
We're here. We're on the couch instead of, our normal recording area.
True.
These episodes are just short stories that don't make the cut to our Gummy Buddies podcast that I feel like are wasteful and rude if I don't share them. So, without further ado, the first episode of Midnight Morsel, I still want to say morals, is Essie Dunbar. Have you ever heard of this nice old woman?
Essie Dunbar?
Essie. Yes.
No, but I do like the name Essie. Essie.
There was one of our patients recently. She goes by Essie.
I like it.
Okay, so I'm going to go over a phobia.
Okay.
Phobia.
Taffy apple phobia.
Taphophobia. It says tapho.
Tapho. I think it's taphophobia.
Something like that. It's the fear of being buried
fear of
alive.
tapping them toes. That too.
Do you feel like you would have a fear of being buried alive?
No. I don't know. Like, I know it's at haunted houses. Sometimes it's like an extra fee you can pay to be buried alive and have that experience or whatever. I'm not really claustrophobic, and I think that kind of goes hand in hand with it. I know the bell thingies are cool.
We're going to get into it.
Okay.
I did my research. So, a little over 100 years ago... I already messed up my words. It's fine. A little over 100 years ago, which is crazy to think about, which makes it the year 1915.
Okay.
That's 110 years ago. Isn't that crazy? Whoa. Really blew my mind when I did the math.
11 years before this house was built.
Oh. She old. She got good bone. In 1915, the medical practice was changing significantly due to World War I, which I also am not good with the war, so I didn't know World War I was going on. Mm-hmm. So this includes portable x-ray machines and mobilized ambulances. And the vaccination campaigns were most common to see, and like more children healthcare, like they wanted like children to get vaccinated, like you have to like take care of your children. Mm-hmm. So that was like more common. Well, unfortunately. So during this time period, confirming the death of someone was less advanced as it is today by observing the sensation of circulatory and respiratory functions. So that was really the only way that they could tell, like, if someone had passed away. And now we have, like, so many tests to, like, actually make sure someone's dead. So keep in mind, the term brain dead was not studied until the early 20th century. Which I thought, like, that term wouldn't have been created in the 20th century. I thought it was, like, in the 1900s, like, somewhere. Like, I just didn't think the word brain dead.
The 20th century is the 1900s.
No, there's the 19th century and the 20th century.
The 20th century is the 1900s.
Nuh-uh.
The 21st century is the 2000s.
Nuh-uh.
So glad we're recording this. Yeah.
No, because the 1900s starts at 1900 and ends at
Google
1999.
Midnight Morsels is just going to be a beckering of us. And we can't do previously on Midnight Morsels.
We don't do previously.
No, we're not previously. Oh, I'm so red.
Okay, Katie's going to look that up.
Okay, you continue.
I hate that I don't know what the 20th century is. I thought the 20th century was like when Y2K was.
What century are we in now? The 21st century.
Okay, do the 19th century. When did that begin?
We're in the 21st century now, then the 20th century is the 1900s.
That doesn't make any sense.
When did the 20th? I can't believe putting this on my Google. They're going to be like, we're deducting IQ points from you. Century. 20th century.
So when was the 19th century? What? Tell me that makes no sense.
I know, it's stupid. I always thought it was stupid, but
okay,
I don't
well, now that I've learned my own lesson, okay, I really thought that
You know what?
In my brain, the 19th century is the 1900s, okay? And we're going to keep it like that. I don't care if they call it the 20th century. I'm rewriting history from this moment forward. Oh my god. Okay.
All right. It's going to work.
Anyways, I thought it would be like, that term. I thought it would have like been more like common back then.
Gotcha.
Back in the olden days, apparently.
I guess it makes sense because the x-rays and all the tech were newer, so they wouldn't really be able to tell until you get the scans to see what brain dead is. So.
I'm so mad because I have the word 19th and 20th in here a lot. So it's like really confusing to read them now. So the fear of premature burial in the early 19th century was a common fear. Mm-hmm. There was a pandemic plague that went on where it would make people's like respiratory systems shut down and they would go into comas for like days and then they would just randomly wake up. Yeah. So like it was like mistaken. Cholera? Yes. Like that was around this time. So this led to safety coffins or security coffins being invented. Security coffins commonly had a string attached to a bell from inside the coffin in case the deceased person had regained consciousness. It also included air tubes so the occupant could communicate and have fresh air. And not all, but some had spring-loaded lids in case the occupant needed to escape. That didn't make sense to me because, like, if you're under the ground, how a spring load isn't going to, like...
Yeah, unless you're buried a foot under the ground. I don't know.
And then some are designed to have windows for light, locks on the lid with keys, and even ladders to help them escape.
I know, like, the price range, too, was, like, the more bells and whistles you had, the more expensive they were.
I had never seen one until I, like, when I was doing this research, it, like, had the picture of it. Never knew they existed.
Morbid did an episode once on weird graves and stuff like that. And they kind of, like, went into random things like that, and I didn't know a lot about it either. I knew about I think everybody knows about, like, the bells on the graves now, but yeah, the fact that they came with literal bells and whistles...
Yeah. So these designs helped reduce the anxiety of being buried alive, and it was not reported to have actually saved anyone. Like, there's no place in history that says, like, this actually saved someone. But maybe, just maybe, it might have helped Essie Dunbar. Yes. So, in South Carolina in 1915, a 30-year-old woman named Essie Dunbar suffered from epilepsy. So she ended up having an epilepsy attack and fallen to the floor and had stopped breathing. Her family, I don't know, like, the whole situation, not sure what to do, called the family doctor, Dr. Briggs. And 911 was not invented until 1968. In the 20th century. That's so stupid. So I'm guessing, like, obviously there wasn't, like, emergency services, so he wasn't, like, rushed to get over there, but I don't know the whole situation. But upon Dr. Briggs' inspection, she was presumed dead, so he must have arrived, like, a little too late or whatever. Mm-hmm. So the funeral arrangements were done rather quickly. They prepared her funeral the next day for 11 a.m. I was wondering why they were preparing it so quickly, because, like, next day funeral, whoa.
I wonder if it had to do with, like, if it was the summer and they didn't have the air conditioning back then. What year was it that she died?
1915.
Okay, so they didn't have AC.
So
they couldn't keep the bodies as cold unless they packed ice.
The germ theory was newly invented, too, so I think a lot of it had to do with, like, if there was...
They're worried about spreading.
So I think that had to be a big deal of it. So Essie's... I don't know why I keep saying Essie. Essie's sister wasn't going to be able to arrive till early morning the next day. On the day of Essie's funeral, it was led by 3 different preachers, which, according to others, should have given her sister plenty of time to arrive. When the service finished, Essie's sister was still nowhere to be found. So, she wasn't there. Still wasn't there. Unable to delay the services any longer, they lowered Essie's coffin into the 6-foot grave and covered her with dirt. Only a few minutes later for Essie's sister to arrive.
Nothing.
Notification. She's arrived.
That's the noise it made when she arrived.
Which, I don't know, a few minutes later and all that work to cover someone 6 feet under. And of course, she wanted to see her sister one last time and asked for them to dig her coffin up so she could pay her respects. So.
I'd be so mad if I got there, like, just slightly late because of some sort of delay, and you couldn't just wait a little bit longer to bury her. Like, why didn't you just wait a little bit longer?
So, it actually turned into, like, the greatest miracle because she arrived late. As funeral attendees watched as her grave got unburied, the coffin lid unscrewed, cries and screams rang out in shock. The astonishment and terror from the crowd. Essie Dunbar had sat up from her coffin and smiled at her sister, very much alive. And I got chills, I got goosebumps.
Thank heavens her sister was freaking late.
Next, utter chaos followed. The 3 preachers had fallen backwards into the grave, and the shortest had suffered from a few broken ribs from the others trying to scramble to get out. Even Essie's family ran from her in complete terror that she was a ghost or a type of zombie. They even got more terrified when she climbed out of the coffin and started to follow them.
Poor Essie.
She's just like...
She's just trying to be with her family.
So sad. So for many years
after...
after...
the SpongeBob part where they're like, die, zombie, die! And it's the food inspector or whatever, and the police or something.
Yeah. For many years after, Essie was known as the woman who had being buried alive, while some of the townsfolk referred to her as being a ghost. Following her funeral, Essie had returned to a rather normal life. She lived for another 47 years, and according to the Augusta Chronicles, she spent her days picking cotton and outlived the doctor that once pronounced her dead. On May 22nd, 1962, Essie had passed away at the Barnwell County Hospital at the age of 77 from natural causes. Now, there's no record of this event happening or only passed through stories and spread of word. The only fact was the newspaper article about Dr. Briggs' death, who had wrongfully pronounced her dead in 1915. That was the only... because it was included in his passing in the newspaper. So that was the only legit
Dr.
fact.
Briggs is dead, but shall we believe him that he's dead? I don't know. He messed up before.
So the question rings out about this: do you think it was fact or fiction? Do you think it could have been real?
I mean, blind squirrel catches a nut every once in a while. Weird stuff happens.
I think that she
weirder things have happened, so I would believe it.
I would believe it too. I think that maybe the epilepsy made her go into a little coma, and then maybe her breathing was so shallow that it just and then I think that when she got buried, I feel that probably with no oxygen, it would wake you up because it's so...
You think so?
I think you know you're dying, or something you would just die. I don't know. That part I feel with the oxygen somehow
or even
woke her
just
up.
the noise I mean you can wake up from a state of unconsciousness at any point from having fainted or gone into a coma. So whether it be the noise or her body just recuperated from the seizure or whatever. Either way, it's believable to me. I'd say believe it.
I think that it's crazy that she lived that long too.
Yeah, with epilepsy, 77. Wow. Especially without the medicine that they have nowadays.
There is a picture of her.
Ooh.
I'm gonna show you what she looks like. She's a very nice old lady.
I'll scoot back so you can float it above my head, next to my head.
I have to find her picture.
Her.
I can't remember where I heard this story. Yeah. I think it was just some random story I had found.
Essie.
Essie. I have a picture of her, I swear. Ignore the typing.
Then I'll say.
This is what she looks like.
Aww.
Yep. That's her.
I believe it.
I was very interested in the story because, I don't know, I didn't think that back then, people would accidentally get buried alive, but I didn't know, how much... I didn't know... It really blows my mind how much medical that they had back then, because I didn't think that they... this could happen, I guess. So, but yeah.
It's so sad,
imagine how many other people, probably have died.
I know.
And you never know.
Think of how many coffins are buried in a cemetery with the scratch marks on the lid.
I think, how interesting would it be, though?
What would you do if you were in a cemetery, like in the middle of the night, so all of a sudden you heard like scratching?
Do you think you could actually hear it?
No, but it'd be creepy.
It would be creepy. It would be creepy. Yeah. I think this also probably set in motion like a lot more like mortuary.
Are you
more, you know, the people that take care of the dead people.
Mm-hmm.
Like to have more like rules in place, like to have them also check.
Oh yeah.
This actually, I gotta think. The death certificate, look at me in my brain. The death certificate wasn't officially instated in the United States till 1910.
Oh, okay.
So it was like freshly new that like when you got a death certificate, like that was like the confirmation. I mean, like there were actual like coroners that had to like come in and sign it. So the fact that this was like passed off, that like she had died, she really wasn't.
Speaking of being snuggled in the living room is called the living room because it used to just be the main room that they would display dead people in for like a full like 7 days. It would be a long time. They'd have a body in a casket and they would use it for wakes in your house. You would use the main parlor to display the body so people could come and visit and do their respects and stuff. And they would do it long term. And then at one point they decided, like, they kind of did away with it, but it was called something else. And they're like, no. Like, they called it... Yeah, they called it something else. Like, not the dead room, I don't think, but they called it something else. And then it, like, was rebranded. Everyone's like, no, this is the living room because we're live people now.
Like, having a body in here for, like, 7 to 8 days. The stench. And think... I wish I would have researched this. Embalming? When did embalming happen? Because obviously she wasn't embalmed. Like, nothing was taken out of her. She wasn't cut open, you know? Like, she was literally, like, put in the ground with all her stuff and blood. Like, it just blows my mind.
Yeah. I'm too cozy. But, yeah, it's the embalming mummies, Egyptians and stuff.
I wonder why they didn't practice it over here. I don't like that part like really confuses me with like it being real is like why was she not embalmed or like anything like I don't know.
Maybe like in the boonies, you know, if you don't have the resources, you just bury them.
Get them out of here.
Yeah.
We don't have time.
I don't know. I liked it. That was a great morsel.
It was a short one. I was gonna try to make her into a podcast episode about other people being buried alive, but I just felt like Essie needed her own little short story. So, thanks for getting cozy with us.
Thank you for not falling asleep and losing what you're doing. Yes, thank you for getting cozy with us. Join us next time for another serving of Midnight Morsels.